Welcome back to our channel. Check out step 6 of this cabinet building series, where Brian mounts the door to the cabinet.
Okay, so since I'm not going to be staining this cabinet, I'm going to go ahead and put the hinges on. One, just for the sake of getting this together for this video, and two, I'm just going to be using a clear varnish over the wood after I burn it to, and I don't care if the hinges are on or not. And then our last segment will be our shelf standards, which actually I'm going to be using little pocket hole, and I have a jig that I use and a special drill bit to drill those holes out for our shelving. So I'm going to show you how to install the hinges now. So what I did was, I have a block of wood here that I cut 1 inch, just so that it could be any number you want, but I've just decided I want an inch put me about at the middle of my my top piece, the middle of that wood. So I'm going to use that as my guide. So I just set that there and put the hinge at that 1 inch mark. Now, I have a nifty little tool here. This is a centering punch, wood centering punch. And what it does is you hit it with the hammer and that comes out through. And that's chamfered, so that sets down in where the screw head will set down in there flush. So I always do my back one first. Now these screws that usually come with hinges, you have a flat head and you have an oval head. The oval heads are designed to be on the hinge that goes against the face frame, and the flat hinge goes, where am I? The flat head goes to attach the hinge to the door. And trust me, I've messed those up before too. I'm actually going to switch drills because I have a little finer touch with this drill than I do that driver. Because you don't want to strip them out, because once you do, you're kind of, you can move the hinge, but you're kind of not in a very good position. Find my flathead screws. See, I have a little bit more control with that drill instead. A lot of times people just go ahead and hand screw this, but I've been using drills and tools long enough that I kind of have a little bit of control. Alright, I got my inch. Do my first hole. Grab a flathead. And invaluable tool right there, especially if you do much cabinetry. Alright, there you are. This wood is fairly soft, so really all I need is that centering hole. But But if you were going into oak, and any harder hickory, anything harder like that, I'd do my centering hole, and then I'd probably do just a little undersized drill bit, drill it out just a little bit, because you can split these out pretty easily. But this is a poplar. It's a little bit softer. I haven't had really any tear outs. Okay, again, this is going to be a left-hand door, so I flip it back over. Now, I use my same gauge block here. Now I'm using my 3/4 side, and up and down, or top and bottom, I'm going to get my 3/4 inch reveal. And then my inch reveal on the side. Now, one of the things you want to do is, these hinges have just a slight spring load on them. So I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but if I just screwed like where this is right now, I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but once I screw it down, it's going to shift it over a little bit. So when you're setting it up, you want to make sure and give yourself a little bit of extra space to the hinge side. So I want my inch reveal, but I really want to do maybe about 1 1/16 inch, 1/8, somewhere around there. What's nice about this wood is there's these grooves in here, so I'm just kind of lining them up with the grooves, and then push it. Okay, probably one more groove. Let's go one more half a groove, just for make sure my 3/4 is still good. And then I always verify with the top. Push it over. Check. Got my 1 inch. Back just a hair. There. I have 4 grooves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 grooves. Now I'll press them both down. As you can tell, this can be a little time consuming, but it'll pay off in the end. Alright, so I keep that pushed down, try to get some pressure on it, do my first hole. And then, of course, my drill's too far away. Okay, I got that one. Now, I'll verify my did move a little bit. Beautiful. Get back over just a tad. Those grooves, though, are finding to be a little bit of a pain because it wants to fall into that groove. All right. Do my punch onto the top one. Keep pressure down. Got the pilot hole. Grab a screw. I know my back's to you again. Alright, so now all we need to do is the last two screws, and then we have our door hung. You'll have to excuse me, but I just got a message. From work. So I'll have to look at up here once I'm done with this. And I'll get these last two screws in and set this cabinet up so you can see. And then our last step will be, I'll show you how I'm going to burn this in, how it's going to look, and then we'll wrap things up. All right, so for the most part, we have a finished cabinet. Opens up and back. Oh yeah, I forgot. We do have another step. I got to do the pocket holes for the shelving spoons. So tell you what, we'll just go ahead and I'll show you real quick how this looks burning it in, and then our last step will be doing the pocket holes. So really, what we're doing here is since it's a rough wood, instead of doing any kind of a stain, I wanted to kind of give it that darkened look like that pallet wood is. So I just use my little propane torch here, and I just start kind of burning, keeping moving. As you go, and you can go as dark or as light as you want. Control it by how close you are and how far away you are. The other thing that's nice about this method is that it burns off a lot of the imperfections, so you don't have to really do a lot of sanding. I better pay attention here. I think I'm only going to show you the one side because this does take a while, and I think you get the idea. I like mine to be a little bit darker just because the wood on there is dark, and especially when you put the varnish on. It'll really pop that out. Doing this too really shows off those ridges, which I think is nice. Alright, so that's how you burn it in. So our last step will be, I'll have to set up for my pocket holes for the shelving, and then we'll finish her up.
Join us next time for the final step of this cabinet building series, where Brian will show us how to mount the cabinet using the shelf mounting method.